Hey everyone, it's the fake Jake here, and welcome back to Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. And now we've reached that point in the game where we have to choose a side. Do we register with the government and hunt down superheroes, or do we join the resistance movement underground? And before we make our decision, we're just gonna go around right quick and figure out what's going on and see the consequences, but also the bonuses of our choices. So, I guess pros and cons is right there.
I didn't sign up for trying to arrest Capes.
Understand your skepticism, Luke, but you have to believe me. I've crunched the numbers, and we absolutely can't rebel against the government on this. If we do,
Can't be any worse than burning the Constitution.
You're exaggerating. This is a temporary measure. Once things settle down...
I ain't buying it, Reed. And I can't believe somebody as brainy as you would.
Oh, hello. Good timing. Perhaps you can talk some sense into Mr. Cage here. He and Iron Fist seem determined to get arrested.
He's the one who needs a reality check. But good luck getting anywhere with that.
And yeah, I just want to clarify one quick thing right now. As you noticed at the end of the last video, they swapped out Iron Man and Luke Cage for Daredevil and Deadpool. And the reason you can't use the two of them right now is because a critical part of the story's coming up. So, for the time being, you're unable to use 5 people. Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, Captain America, Luke Cage, and The Thing. In case you're wondering why you can't use The Thing, I'll go ahead and make that clear right now.
You have reached the voicemail box of
Reed Richards.
Please leave your message at the tone.
Yeah, hey Reed, this is Ben. Look, I can't do this. Lord knows I've followed you into some pretty crazy places over the years, but somehow this is one place I can't go. I've been thinking about it for a long time. Registration's wrong, and I won't support a law I don't believe in, but I'm still a patriot. I ain't gonna fight my own government, so the way I see it, that leaves me only one choice. I'm out. Going underground till this thing blows over. Don't bother trying to find me.
Yeah, and I really love that little voicemail there from The Thing. I really do love that because it kind of shows that some of the big groups in the Civil War, like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, they kind of go their own separate ways because they have a different view on things. So, example for the Fantastic Four, you've got Ben, who... I heard you the first time. Anyway, before I was interrupted, you've got Ben, who didn't want to break the law by rebelling, but he didn't want to capture his friends, so he went underground and left. And then Sue and Johnny were originally pro, but they switched to Captain America's rebellion, like Spider-Man did. Then you've got Reed, who was pro all the way, so they kind of got split into 2 big groups. And I could be wrong about this, but I'm fairly certain most of the X-Men, except for, I believe,
sure
Bishop,
you can get us to Cap without
were
leading
on
them right to him?
the
Got it
anti-side.
You just stick with me.
But what about the rest? How can we convince...
They're gonna have to make their own choice. Stark, Richards, and Songbird are obviously a lost cause. But maybe, well, speak of the devil. So you folks made up your minds yet? From what I hear, they ain't gonna give you much more time to sit on the fence.
Was eclipsed by Stanford. Many advocates point toward the Washington
Got any
DC
compelling
as
reasons
evidence that
why I
superheroes
should
are
want to become a
absolutely
criminal?
necessary in today's world.
I ain't no government puppet, and I assume you feel the same way. There are worse things you could do than risk jail time to do the right thing.
I can see your point, besides the one on your head, that is. Oh, wow. It's kind of funny. Let's see. The right thing equals beating up government employees. You sure of that?
If they're enforcing unconstitutional laws and hunting you down like a dog, hell yeah.
Dr. Pym, that very nanite sample has just arrived for you from the
Oh
vaccine.
man, that's one thing I really love about Luke Cage in this game. He has such a way of changing the mood. How long do you really think a resistance movement could last?
Cap in charge, as long as it takes.
Let's see. You ever hear "you and what army"? Well, they got the army.
Security.
Cap took out a squad of those losers without breaking a sweat. I bet you could do the same. Anyway, think it over. But like I said, you better hurry up.
I probably could take out some of those losers without breaking a sweat. I mean, Titanium Man's guys didn't put up much of a fight, so don't really think the SHIELD agents would cause any trouble. So yeah, as for picking a side, I'm more of an anti-registration guy myself. I sided more of that. I kind of agreed with what they stood for. I mean, neither side you pick is really bad. It's, I guess it all goes down to personal preference and what you feel you should do.
With the Superhuman Registration Act looking likely to pass within the week, we recently sat down with one of its most surprising critics, Captain America.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
Our pleasure. Captain, in the wake of the Stanford tragedy, the public overwhelmingly favors mandatory registration for all superhumans. Can millions of Americans be wrong?
Unfortunately, they can, Brian. Our country's history is littered with wrongs that most Americans approved of at the time. Slavery, the incarceration of Japanese Americans during World War II, the McCarthy hearings.
But how do you deal with it, knowing that nearly everyone is against you on this?
I think of what Mark Twain wrote on the subject. If you alone of all the nation shall decide one way, and that way be the right way according to your convictions, you have done your duty by yourself and by your country.
An inspiring quote.
Absolutely. When the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move.
And hearing Cap say that quote there, the first time I played this, it just kind of got me hoping that if superheroes are going to use stuff like that during this time, then it wouldn't be too bad if they made up quotes of their own.
Hey, good times, huh?
I can't believe it's come to this.
I can. The government's always wanted to take us down a peg. Now they see their chance. But Cap showed us what we need to do.
Take who down a peg? Little old us?
If we had time, I'd tell you some stories about S.H.I.E.L.D. Just trust me. World peace isn't at the top of their priority list.
Well, since Fury isn't around, you'd probably be one of the best people to tell me some stories about S.H.I.E.L.D. So what now? Should I be cleaning my musket and waiting for Cap to start a rebellion?
Between you and me, I hope so. I have no intention of registering. And we're gonna need a leader.
One thing about rebellions, people usually die in them.
People have died. Nothing can change that. But we can't let it keep us from doing what we know is right. Look, personal freedom is what Cap's fighting for. This is your choice to make. I know which way I'm going. Hopefully you do too.
Well, I've already stated to my audience which way I'm going, so no need to really repeat myself.
New York Senator Lieber decried the recent passage of
I
the
just want to
registration
do one thing right quick.
today.
Oops. This is the team I'm going to be using to pick my side. I know it's not really a special team, but this is just the team I'm going to be using until I've got my side picked. If I'm going to be using them for the time being, I just want to quickly put Deadpool on auto spend. And everyone else should be good. Just want to check. Yep. Oh wait, nope. Actually, Daredevil isn't good. Much better. See, if I hadn't noticed that, we might have been in a trouble spot. See the benefits of noticing stuff like this?
Citing his rescue by a team of superheroes just
That's what
before
happens
the
when you
Stanford
pay attention.
incident.
Stay in school, kids.
Hey, you come to a decision yet?
Stanford was bad, alright, but is this really the answer?
For now, yeah, it is. Stanford would never have happened if superheroes had proper oversight.
Red tape and me don't mix so well.
We don't let cops run around shooting whoever they want. If somebody wants the authority to take on bad guys, they need to answer to somebody.
I don't see S.H.I.E.L.D. looking too sad about being asked to rein us in.
No one's got a better reason to be paranoid than I do. And I'm telling you, this is the way it's gotta go.
Nitro could have pulled this with anyone, including you, or me.
Let's not start playing what if. What happened, happened. All we can do now is try to make sure it doesn't happen again. Look, I can't make the decision for you. Just remember, we're supposed to protect people. Signing up for training and accountability is the best way to do that.
And I guess I can kind of see why Bishop's siding towards the registration, because, I mean, we all knew the future that he grew up in was, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty terrible, so I guess he's just wanting to make sure that it doesn't happen to the rest of us.
Reed, I'm trying, but I just can't follow these equations.
I'd be surprised if you could, Tony. They're a new form of science I invented, actually. A way to predict future trends by mathematically modeling past events.
Really? How reliable?
Very. I've been using it to predict general trends for years.
And what are they showing you now?
A series of societal earthquakes, conflicts beyond anything that's ever happened. The death of billions.
My God.
I ran the numbers again and again. I found no force that could be applied anywhere to make a better outcome until...
The Registration Act.
Yes, that's the first part. Other actions will be necessary, in the right order, at the right times.
Actions that will turn us against our friends. Change everything we know.
I'm well aware of that, Tony. But the alternatives are much, much worse.
Whoever said saving the world would be easy, huh? All right, Reed. Walk me through the numbers. And take it slow.
Well, read, science, and slow aren't really three things that mix. Just saying.
And so, in a worst-case scenario, we'd find ourselves in the equivalent of a superpowered civil war.
Heroes so busy fighting each other, the criminals get a free pass.
Exactly. That's where you and the Thunderbolts would come in, Melissa. We need you to help S.H.I.E.L.D. keep crime under control while we focus on... Oh, hello again. I'm glad to see you're not going off half-cocked like Luke, Danny, and Eli over there seem to be. We need cooler heads to prevail at a time like this.
Smart guy like you backing registration. Seems sketchy.
There's morality and there's practicality. I may have personal issues with the act, but I also have hard evidence that if we rebel against it, the entire world's future will be imperiled. So, there's really only one sane choice here.
Grim work of identifying all the
Well, we have a difference of
continues.
opinion on what
An
that
official
might
list of
be.
confirmed dead is not expected to be
Especially seeing
completed
as how I'm
in minutes.
Wolverine. Last I heard, the lesser of two evils is still evil.
I'm not saying the SRA is evil, but going down a path we know leads to disaster would certainly be irresponsible and foolish.
So what happens to the ones who tell S.H.I.E.L.D. where to shove it?
I'm not sure that's been determined. Incarceration, most likely. Those who violently resist might accidentally be harmed.
Accidentally. Right. Uh-huh. And the one and who gets to round up the undesirables.
Many advocates point toward the
That's classified, I'm afraid. We can speak more freely about it once you've registered. Now, if you'll excuse me, Songbird and I have some logistics to discuss.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna be discussing it more freely then. You never know, do you? Just making sure there's no collectibles around here I'm missing. And I just want to say one thing about the Civil War right quick. In the game and in the book, there are some heroes that in the book, like, let's see, let me find a good example. Like Daredevil, who were always anti-registration. But in this game, if you pick the pro-registration side, you can still have Daredevil on your team. And at the end of this video, I'll actually show you guys something that kind of relates to that. If, like, say that, oh, in the books they're on this side, why then in the game can you use them on this side? One of these review terminals around your headquarters actually gives each character a reason as to why they would be on both sides. So, a reason why they would be pro and a reason why they would be anti. So, let's say they were on one side in the books, and except for I think 3 characters, it gives every other person a reason as to why they'd pick the other side. So it's kind of interesting. When you meet with Maria Hill, your actions will determine your allegiance. Your choice will determine the missions you take on and change the boosts and abilities you earn. Some heroes have already chosen their side, the rest of your team will follow your choice. You may wish to save your game now. Yeah, so it says right there you've got 3 heroes who are always on the Register side. Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, and Songbird always on the Register side. And then Captain America, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist always on the Rebel side. So if you were to pick one side, you wouldn't be able to use the other 3 characters on your team, but it isn't for the whole game, so you would only really lose out for 3 characters. So let's say if I pick a side with the 4 that I've got now, as it said, the rest of my team, apart from 3 people who are on the side I don't choose, would follow my choice. So there you go, in case you guys didn't know.
All superhumans, the Registration Act is in effect. You are now required to meet with Commander Hill and register your identity with S.H.I.E.L.D.
And the time has come to make our decision.
Dr. Pym, Latverian nanite samples have just arrived for you from the Baxter building.
I'm glad to see you're willing to meet with me on civil terms. Once you register, I'm sure we'll have a productive relationship. The paperwork is right here. Step up and sign, please.
Give me one good reason. It's exactly what I would say too.
Because it's the law, and because if you don't, we'll drop you so fast your super little heads will spin. So, what's it gonna be, heroes? Just sign up here and you'll be bona fide law enforcement agents. You're not looking to start trouble, are you?
Well, Trouble is Logan's middle name. And even if you did drop Logan, he'd probably just get right back up. I mean, he's got a healing factor. And Wade probably'd get right back up too. Less certain about Parker and Murdoch here, but... well, hopefully we won't have to see that.
Smart move. I'm glad to see you're going through with registration.
Back off, Hill. We're not doing this.
You're not getting out of here until you choose.
I'm pretty certain I just chose, but in case it was unclear, maybe this will make it
That's
clear.
close enough. I won't let you pull a stunt like your pal Captain America did. Just sign the damn paper.
Well, guess what I'm about to do? Pull a stunt.
One
Boom!
more stunt like that and there'll be hell to pay.
Crime not only doesn't pay, it hurts.
Woo! Oh wait, I said Trouble is Logan's middle name. Let Logan cause some havoc.
You're gonna get carved, bub.
See, like I said, they dropped him, and he just got right back up.
I'll cut you down to size.
Oh, I bet you will.
We ain't done yet. Maybe next time you ought to pick on somebody your own size.
Anybody up for shish kebab?
Got more of the same for you right here.
There's a lot more where this came from. You know what? Anybody up for kebabs?
Sleeping on the job. You damn fool. You have no idea what you've just done.
Par for the course, crazy lady. Besides, I can always go the other way on my next playthrough.
Ah, Deadpool.
Jeez, Mr. Cage?
Don't worry, kid. He'll bounce back from this. Songbird will be fine too.
I think Reed has a less chance of getting right
You made
back
the
up.
right choice. I knew you would. Now let's get the hell out of here before we got more of these lackeys to deal with.
Sounds good to me.
Welcome to the Resistance. It's good to see there's still heroes like us willing to stand up for what's right. It's also encouraging to see a significant number of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents defecting to our side. They call themselves the White Star, apparently in my honor. I can't tell you we're in for an easy time, though. Stark and S.H.I.E.L.D. have advanced technology and almost unlimited resources at their disposal.
Yeah, but none of that matters. What we got is more important.
Yes, we have the moral high ground. We know we're in the right. Our path to victory? Convince the public to repeal that law by remaining steadfast. And by showing everyone what it really means to be a hero.
We got a lot of operations in the works, so you can count on being asked to help out real soon.
Meantime, feel free to explore our command bunker. This abandoned Hydra storage facility is no Stark Tower, I know, but it'll hold up if S.H.I.E.L.D. comes knocking.
Well, that's good to know. At least we won't be holed up in a piece of junk.
We won't win this thing holed up in here. Head over to the briefing station when you're ready for your first mission.
And before I sign off here, I just want to show you guys one quick little thing. If you guys remember towards the beginning of the video, I had told you how I'd be showing you the feature where you can see the perspectives of both sides for the heroes. So we're just going to pick a random one. Let's go with Daredevil. See, because I've picked the anti-registration side, it gives his reason as to why he'd be that side. And If I picked pro, it would give his reason for being pro. But I'm not actually going to read the full thing out. If you want to read it, you can just pause the video, but I'm running on a little bit of a clock here. And with that being said, I'm going to end it here for today. Hope you guys have a safe rest of your day, and I will see you with more Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 later. Bye, gamers.